Hello and welcome back to the Cheshire TV show with Ian and Alex Story. This week, we are catching up with Paul from MPA Fitness in Northwich, and we have a fantastic feature on wine with Dave, the wine manager at Define in Sandyway.
So let's go see Paul.
So hi there guys, I'm here today with Paul from MPA Fitness in Northwich, and we're going to have a good chat about the people, the area and Paul's business. Nice to meet you, Paul.
Hi Ian, nice to meet you too.
So if we could talk about first of all what you love about Northwich and the surrounding villages.
Okay. Well, I moved to Northwich about 15 years ago now. I'm originally from Stockport, which is a lot busier town, and spent a lot of time in Manchester. What I like about here, I like its countryside, I like its access to the countryside. Everything is just right on the doorstep. I do a lot of running, I do a lot of bike racing, and it's all very close. So that's very appealing to me. There's also some lovely areas to live as well, very close around, Hertford, Davenham, these are nice places. We're very close to Knutsford, which is great for a nightlife. So it seems to be, and very accessible to Manchester and Liverpool as well. So that's what I like about it.
It's a good location.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think we love how close it is to Manchester Airport as well. If you're going away, it's less than half an hour, isn't it? And
that is correct.
You're at the terminals there.
It is.
Great, okay, so in terms of the people then, of the area, obviously you must have quite a few coming into your gym. What are your thoughts on the people of the area? You know, do you have friends around here and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, you know, like I was saying, I grew up in Stockport, but now here, since I've moved to Northwich, a lot of my friends are from here now. I've made a lot of friends through working in the business that I'm in, a lot of contacts through that, and they're good people.
Yeah, good honest folk.
No one's robbed me yet.
No, that's good. Let's talk about MPA then. I'm a member here, as you know.
Right.
Do you want to talk me through how long it's been here?
All right, okay. Yeah, so this is something I'm a little more qualified to answer.
Yeah, great.
We're in our 6th year now. MPA Fitness is largely a personal training based gym. We are focused on delivering results. People generally buy gym memberships on one of two criteria: facilities or service. We can't match the huge gyms for the amount of stuff that they have, but what we do deliver specifically is service, and if you are looking for results, we are the people to come to for that. We will invest in you and give you time.
Yeah, indeed. What I like about it is how friendly it is. I feel like it's not full of meatheads, you know, it's a nice friendly place to come.
Yeah, it is.
For men and women alike.
For men and women alike, and meatheads are welcome too, you know, providing they put the kit away and they're friendly and they're polite, and then, everybody's welcome.
Yeah, yes, very good, very good. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about fitness trends then. What do you think the fitness trends are for 2019?
Well, fitness trends, to be honest, doesn't really interest me, because I know what works, and what works has stood the test of time for millennia, which is high intensity interval training, lifting heavy stuff, and that's kind of what it's based around. And trends will come in and out: Zumba, trampoline, bouncing, this, that, the other class, to keep people interested a little bit. But what works is that high intensity training and picking heavy things up.
Okay, so you've sort of answered my next question really, which was what are the 3 things people can do to lose fat, tone up, build muscle?
Yeah.
You've already answered the question there, have you, Paul?
Yeah, well, we didn't cover diet there. What you eat and drink is hugely important, and lifestyles. And, you know, we can do a lot in the gym by helping people out with the type of exercise they need to do, but really, and this is the big challenge for me, is what goes on outside of here that makes a big difference, and that's we spend a lot of time trying to work on that.
And I suppose that's very hard for you to manage as a PT,
It's
if not impossible.
Well, I try, you know, we incorporate some service where we might be on a daily relationship with text and email to try and get people to do that. But it's just little, if we can just begin with trying to make small changes, you know, people often fall down when they radically try to change their lifestyle.
Yes.
So we just try to implement small changes.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So, talk to me about the plans for MPA going forward.
Okay, going forward, we're going to focus more and more on service and personal training.
Okay.
That's where it's going to be. 80% of gym goers do not see results. You are only going to see results if you progress and improve at something. Now, it could be anything. You could be playing tiddlywinks if you want to, but so long as you improve, you're going to see results. That is the way MPA is going to go in the future now, more and more down that. We began trying to compete with the larger gyms to just recruit members. We can't do that. We can't do that. So it's going to all be about service and delivering results.
Okay, very good. So you see yourself being here to serve the people of Northwich and surrounding villages for a long time to come?
Yes, and we're looking to expand.
Okay,
yeah, looking to move, looking to add further facilities.
Fab.
So yes, we very much intend to grow.
Brilliant. Okay, that's fab. So it's great to meet Paul today. Check out the MPA website and Facebook page for details of classes. Welcome back. We hope you all found that interesting. That's a really good business that Paul's got there in Northwich. Really friendly gym, of which we're both members. So I'd suggest that you check it out.
Yeah. And now we've got our buy-to-let deals for any Cheshire landlords out there.
I'm out and about again, looking for good, new to the market buy-to-let deals for your portfolio. This property behind me here is on the market on Brooke Street in Lostock, Graylam. So it's on the market currently for 110,000. So assuming you can secure it for around 105, that's going to give you a good yield of 6.5%, as the rent achievable is around 575 a month. This is a 2-bedroom mid-terraced house. It's in perfectly good condition to let it out to a good tenant immediately. I love it because of the proximity to Lostock Graylam railway station and Northwich town centre, and the A556 is a 4-5 minute drive, so for commuting it's very good. It's on the market currently, and I will put the Rightmove link in the comments below.
Welcome back, Cheshire landlords. That's a really good buy-to-let deal for your portfolios. Well worth a look.
Now we're going back to Define Food and Wine in Sandyway, where I caught up with Dave Raftery, the wine manager. So here I'm talking to Dave Raftery, wine manager here at Define Food and Wine. Now Dave's going to talk to us about different red wines to suit different budgets. So Dave, do you want to start off by talking us through the different bottles and different prices and how novices can get into wine tasting?
Okay, well, obviously there are different price points, and the prices reflect obviously the quality of the wine to some extent, and also the rarity of the wine, the difficulty in making the wine. The entry point wine we've got today is probably one of our best-selling Malbecs, albeit it's not at a price that people would typically spend in a supermarket. And this is the Colomé wine. It's from Salta, which is very elevated vineyards in Mendoza in Argentina. The elevation gives amazing depth of colour and wonderful aromatics for these wines, and this is a wine that is very, very, very polished, and it's just that entry point, but it probably is the definition of what high quality Malbec in Argentina can produce.
And I've heard, I don't know if there's much truth in this, do you need to look on the back of the bottle and see where it was bottled to see if is that a good indicator of a decent wine? Or...
It doesn't really have a major bearing.
Okay.
Wines can be bottled on the estate, or wines can be produced at different locations. And in fact, typically, historically, with places like Rioja, the vast majority of the grapes that were made all over the region and then would be brought into the winery. So even though it was made on the wine estate, the grapes were grown extensively, and that's equally true for both port and for champagne.
So Dave, this is more sort of your middle range budget then. Obviously this one retails at £44. What would you expect for the extra money?
Well, first of all, it's made in the Barolo region, and the problem that you have in that area is that the local grape, which is Nebbiolo, is a very, very fickle grape. And part of the price of a wine is in part reflection of the difficulty of growing it. If the wine, the end product, isn't a particularly great wine, then they wouldn't bother using that grape. So it's a balance that they have to strike. They know that they're going to incur a lot of expense in making it, and they hope to make a wine that is expressive of the region and delivers a very high level of quality. This particular wine from Canubi is one of the small plots within the Barolo region, produces wonderful fragrant wines, very autumnal in character. Roses, tar, violets are the flavours that people often pick up on with these wines, and they're very, very elegant, and they have extended periods of life ahead of them, so this wine could keep for another 10 to 15 years.
Okay, right, okay. And is it true then you should open it a few hours before you intend to drink it, or get it to room temperature, is that right, or does it depend on the specific wine?
It depends generally on the wine. With relatively young, inexpensive wines, you don't really need to worry about that so much. With wines that are very tannic, either we're talking big muscular wines that might be made with grapes such as Cabernet Sauvignon, relatively high alcohol wines, those are wines that would benefit from a bit of time, and opening the bottle won't do an awful lot because there's very little air can get in. What you really need to do is to put the wine into a jug or a decanter, but either will do, and leave it for maybe half an hour. Give it a taste. If it's tasting nice and open, there's lots of fruit, it's fine. If it's still a bit closed, give it a bit more time.
Yeah. So this is our top end, Dave. Do you want to tell me, I think this one retails for £110. Do you want to tell us a bit more about this one?
So this is from Chateau Leoville-Barton. It's one of the finest wines from the Bordeaux region. In Bordeaux, there was a classification system going back to 1855, and historically it named the various estates that produced the top wines, and the determination as to the level, the ranking as it were, was dictated by the then selling price of these wines. These wines were legendary for their aging capacity. The Leoville-Barton from 2005, which is a stunning vintage, can probably keep for another 20-25 years, so it can go on for 40-50 years, and as it ages it will mellow and produce lots of additional interesting flavours and aromas.
Okay. And I have to ask, what's your favourite red?
My favourite red would probably be the La Rioja Alta from Rioja.
Okay. So I've been chatting to Dave Raftery, wine manager here at Define Food and Wine. If anyone is interested in learning more about wine and the different tastings they hold, then come down to Sandy Way. Now back to the studio.
Hi and welcome back. I hope you got lots from that lifestyle feature. Now it's time for Just Sold. This week, I found a fantastic property that's recently sold on St Mary's Drive in Whitegate. The property was sold by Stuart Rushton for £990,000 in September of 2018. Let's take a look. If we look at the external photograph there, you can see behind the property that it backs onto Vale Royal Golf Course. Now, I would love to live in that property. I'm sure you would too. If we take a look at the hallway, you can see it has the fantastic galleried landing, and the rear garden there is beautifully hedged and edged by all the mature trees with the boundary onto the golf course. Internally, the kitchen has been done obviously to an extremely high standard. If we take a look upstairs at that gallery landing, what a fantastic feature for this property with the ingle nook window overlooking the front. One of my favourite rooms has to be the master bedroom. That is a superb sized bedroom with the ensuite to one end. I hope you agree with me that that was a really fantastic Cheshire property. Now it's time for Stat Chat. Amazingly, Knutsford tenants' deposits held total over £1.2 million. With the government preparing to control tenants' deposits at 5 weeks' rent, Knutsford landlords will soon only be protected in the event of a single month of unpaid rental arrears. At a time when universal credit has seen some rent arrears quadrupling, and that's before you consider the costs of putting right any damage to the property or legal costs. When you consider the value of all the privately rented properties in Knutsford total over £325 million, the need for decent landlord insurance to ensure you are adequately covered as a landlord is vital. However, let's also consider the point of view of the Knutsford tenant. Several housing charities consider that spending more than a third of someone's salary on rent as exorbitant, yet for the tenant, this is exactly the position that many find themselves in. I feel especially sorry for the Knutsford youngsters in their 20s who want to rent a place for themselves as they face having to pay out the rent and at the same time try and save a deposit for their first home. The average 22 to 29-year-old in Knutsford spends 41% of their salary on a one-bedroom property and 52% for a two-bed home in Knutsford. Compared with 40 years ago, people in rented accommodation spent an average of 10% of their salary on rent and only 14% in London. Yet landlords also face costs that need to be covered from rents, including mortgages, landlord insurance, maintenance, and licensing. In fact, rents in the last 10 years have failed to keep up with UK inflation. So in real terms, landlords are worse off when it comes to their rental returns. However, there are a small handful of Knutsford landlords selling some or all of their rental portfolio as their portfolios become less economically viable with the recent tax changes for buy-to-let landlords, which will result in fewer properties available for rent. This will reduce the supply of availability in Knutsford, meaning rent will rise. Classic textbook supply and demand. Thus, landlords' return and yield will rise. This will mean new buy-to-let landlords will be attracted into the market, keen to get a piece of the action. To read that article in full and for more information on your local property market, check out CheshirePropertyBlog.com.
I found a fantastic proposition for you here. This property behind me is on London Road in the highly sought after village of Davenham. Now, as you can see, currently it's a period 4-bedroom detached house. However, you can see the boarding behind me here. The owner has planning permission to extend and convert this property into a fantastic 5-bedroom detached residence. Now, the completed house is going to be on the market for £1.25 million. I cannot explain how extremely well done this property is going to be. I will put the Rightmove link in the comments below. It is on the market with J Lord & Co in Davenham. Well worth a look if you have the budget for a luxury home of this calibre.
Welcome back. That was another superb property that I found that's new to the market in Cheshire.
Thanks again everyone for watching this week. Please tune in next Friday when we go to Bump Nursery Boutique in Davenham and we meet Becky. Thanks, Em.
Bye.